All right, so let's have a little bit of an anatomy lesson right now for everybody that I have ever talked to that I've said your back is flat. Now, I don't want to get really professionally specific because this is really for client purposes and I don't want to bore anybody. But see this arch right here, and you can see it really nice along with my black shirt, and then we have this arch, and then we have this arch. So in a nice posture where the ear, the shoulder, and the hip and the ankle align, this arch should match this arch. And then this should move out just a little bit convexed from this concave. Now in a flat back, this part of the lumbar pushes out, the pelvis rotates under this way, and then we have a flat back. Now, there's a lot of different ways this can go. You could have a flat back with a hyperextended neck where somebody looked like that. You could have a flexed back with a flat neck. It can go in quite a few different directions. But let's just look at the back itself. When you start to get a flatter back, more than likely it's because you have posturally tucked your pelvis under in a seated position for too long, and you've gotten your hamstring short from weakness. So you've been sitting in a car, you've been sitting at a desk, you haven't done your homework and done your hamstring exercises. And hamstrings being a postural group, when they get weak, they're gonna get short and they're gonna get very, very tight because of the amount of connective tissue around those hamstring muscles, which there's a few of them. It's not like it's just one hamstring, it's a group. So the hamstrings are going to be an important part of this, but what we're going to start with is we're going to start to try to strengthen the lower back first. And the hamstrings are naturally going to be part of the back line, and they're going to start to strengthen. So rather than focusing on that and then ending up with even more of a sore back, let's strengthen these, because the spinal erectors and the lower lumbar muscles are also postural, but they're now in a long position where they're straight and they're elongated, and the abdomen is in a short position. Being a movement muscle, that means that it's probably going to be triggering pain into your back. We can't do anything with that right now. We're going to start to use the lower back to start to open up the abdominals, and this might be really confusing for you, but this is like the best part of me teaching people, is that I want you to have that aha moment where when your flat back finally gets a little bit of a curve in it, you'll realize that your abdomen muscle is now longer. And it happened through a natural connection between you contracting the lower back, and when you contracted, the abdomen could no longer contract, so it had to elongate. And that's what we're going to work on today. We'll work on just a very simple, basically kind of a hyperextension, but not really like a severe hyperextension. But we're going to be doing some extensions of the back. We'll be doing them face up and face down. So there's your anatomy lesson. Repeat this a few times so that you get it. And then once you start to get that connection between the two and you start to build that, then we'll start working on hamstrings. There's a hamstring video already that you can look at, and you can start to do some hamstring exercises. But give this maybe 3 weeks of work very gently. And again, remember that rule, only do to a point where you start to feel that muscle work and then stop, okay? At the beginning, I tell people do 3 to 5 and then do that every day for a week, and then start to increase your repetitions up until you get to 15. It's got to be slow. Your body does not know how to handle it any other way. So let's get to the floor and let's start to do those lower back exercises. Lower lumbar. So we're trying to get the arch back into the back. So you're in this position where your pelvis is tucked under, the hamstrings are short, the abdomen is short, and we're trying to open that up. So by you drawing the tailbone towards the mat, you can see how your abdomen is going to come outward, and it's going to elongate the base of the hip where the hamstring attaches. And then as you tip under, there goes that abdomen shortening again and the hamstring shortening again. So we're gonna do the drawdown and the lift of the lower back off of the mat and then release. Now I will say I'm a very big proponent of doing this with my group classes to get them to develop their arch. And if you do too many of these at the beginning, you will end up with a very sore lower back. So go super slow and only do a few, 3 to 5 each day. Don't do it every time you get a moment. Just do a few at the beginning of your cool down towards after your workout when you're doing your abdominals. And I'm at about 5 and I'm just lifting that up. Now you can put your hands under your back and try to lift your back off of your hands. That's a nice way of doing it. If you want to put a little bit of a lumbar support or a towel underneath and try to lift off of the towel, but you're rolling the sacrum like a duck and trying to draw that tailbone down into your mat. Now, I will also tell people to come into neutral pelvis by drawing that tailbone down and then drawing the abdomen in. Now, what that does is it gets the abdomen to pull at the front of the pelvis and it gets the lower back to draw at the back of the pelvis. So it neutralizes the pelvis. Right now, you're trying to correct a flat back. We're gonna roll over, and this is an extension of the back. So you're gonna move upward with your hands by your side for first level. Keep your neck at a natural extension. Remember, you're lifting from the rib cage to the pelvis. You don't want to lift the head into it and create a sore neck. And then second level is going to be arms out like Superwoman, Superman, and you're going to lift into that lower back. It gives you a little less. You may feel some of the parts of the abdomen opening up and working when you lift through your lower back that are tight and trying to elongate. That is a signal of what's called a soft stop. So if you lift through your lower back and you feel your abdominal tighten and maybe create a little bit of a pain, stop immediately, go down, and then go back up again, and you'll work through that point very nicely. And then third level would be hands behind your head and lifting without any support of the upper body at all. And this doesn't have to be super big off the floor. You may have seen people doing this at a gym with a hyperextension machine, which is an advanced exercise and should be done thinking about the hip joint doing most of the movement and then the lower back at the very end of the movement so that the lower back isn't in complete movement. Do these the same way. Level 1 should be done 3 to 5 times for the first week. Add a repetition every few days after that point. You can do them 3 to 5 times a week from the second week on. And then after you're done reaching 15 repetitions for a week or more, then you can move to level 2 and start level 2 the same way. 3 to 5 for the first week and 3 to 5 times a week past that point, adding a repetition. And do that with each level past that point. If you lose time where you are not working out, remember, as you get older, the fewer days is going to mean more atrophy in the muscle getting weaker. So if you lose 3 to 5 days past the age of 40, back up your workout so that you're doing less weight, less repetition, and build it back up again. As you start moving towards 60, that's even going to be harder. So you really need to make sure that you get into the gym every 3 days, minimally. If you start missing 3-day gaps, then you're going to start to really see that your workouts are going to possibly bother you. So think about that 72-hour mark as you get older, and do these if you have a flat back, not a curved back, okay? The curved back is lordosis, and that's on the lordosis video. So have a great day. See you soon.